Hey friends, it's Jeremiah Gilreath with the Pell City Chamber of Commerce, and today we are doing our ninth part of the series, our Chamber Connection, and we're grateful today to have some time with our St. Clair County District Attorney, Lyle Harmon. Lyle, we appreciate you taking time to talk to us today, and we're just going to ask you some questions about yourself, and what you do here, and the citizens and the community can know what goes on at the district attorney's office.
Sure.
Because
Thank you.
some may not know.
Well,
I
thank you
probably
for
don't know
having me.
everything that goes on. So,
Right.
first of all, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Okay. Well, I am Lyle Harmon. Have the honor to serve as your district attorney, and want to continue to do so. I think I probably have the best job in the world, and it's stressful, it's tough, but every decision that I make or my assistants make is for the right reason, and in our pursuit of justice. So regarding the district attorney, it's probably the best job in the world. And then, but it's even a small, just portion of my life, because I'm probably the luckiest guy in the world too. Got a wonderful wife, Shelly Harmon, kindergarten teacher, just the love of my life, and been blessed with 3 sons and just phenomenal young men. So pretty lucky guy, Jeremiah.
I understand.
Yeah.
I feel the same way. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Now, you were an attorney for how long before you became district attorney?
I've been an attorney now for 21 years.
Okay.
And when I first started, the first job that I received was as a assistant or a deputy district attorney in Jefferson County. So I kind of cut my teeth as a prosecutor. I got activated in the National Guard in '03, and when I got home, I opened a private practice here in Pell City, which is my hometown.
Right. Okay.
And then I stayed in private practice until Richard Miner hired me in 2016, and I became the chief and his chief assistant in 2017. And then when he got elected to the Court of Criminal Appeals, Governor Ivey appointed me in 2019 to take his place, and what a huge honor. Big shoes to fill.
Right. Oh yeah.
With Richard.
Richard Miner was excellent.
Absolutely.
Excellent.
Huge shoes, and that's part of my motivation every day. If I can do it as good as him, I know I'm doing our citizens well.
Right. Now, the district attorney's office, or your position, that's an elected official, right?
It is an elected position, and even though I was appointed, I am up this term for 2022.
Okay.
And they're 6-year terms, and I ask the citizens to certainly consider me for another term.
Right. Excellent. All right. And now you mentioned National Guard. You are a helicopter pilot.
Yep.
And you are still currently in the National Guard.
Yeah, I'm officially the old guy in the National Guard. That's another part of just being a lucky guy. There's I can't think of any other kid from Pell City who gets an opportunity to fly $10 million aircraft, and God's blessed me and given me that opportunity. I joined in 1992, had a small break-in service when I got back from Iraq, and then went back in, and so I'm on my 26th year, and what a great part-time job.
Yeah.
Flying helicopters is awesome.
What is one of your favorite missions that you went on that you could tell us about?
Well, there's so many. There's so many memories. It's hard to pick out one that's my favorite. Certainly serving my country in Iraq when we invaded. I was part of the 101st Airborne Division when we crossed the border in March the 23rd in 2003, and so I saw every inch of Iraq from the air, and so I guess that's probably one thing that I'm the proudest, because of the men and women that I serve with.
Yeah.
And to pick out one thing in particular is almost impossible.
Right. Did you have one type of aircraft that you?
Yep. I flew Kiowa Warriors. They're now retired, which I guess says a lot about my age. But I flew Kiowa Warriors in Iraq, just a wonderful aircraft. I currently fly the Lakota, and it's one of the newest aircraft in the Army's inventory, and it's pretty fun to fly.
Okay.
So really lucky.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that sounds awesome.
Yeah.
As far as the district attorney goes, tell us a little bit about the duties, the day-to-day tasks that you do here at this office.
Right. Well, as district attorney, we prosecute crimes, and those crimes range anywhere from a speeding ticket or a stop sign ticket all the way to capital murder. So it can be very simple all the way to the very complex. And with that comes stress, and with it comes, unfortunately, in our world today, there's a lot of work and there's a lot of crime, unfortunately. As our county grows, just statistically, crime will follow. It's an unfortunate side of growth, but our office, my office, is here to do what we can do to be sure that those who commit crimes are punished justly, and who hurt our citizens. And we fight that fight every day, and it's a good fight.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Now, I know when I was working heavily with the coroner's office, there would be times I would have to call you or Richard at 2 o'clock in the morning and say, I need authorization for an autopsy. And
I remember those calls.
Yeah, those are things that you have to do as a district attorney. You're over that part of it as well, so it's not just criminal cases. It's coroner cases.
Coroner cases. It's investigations. It's everything. It's a wonderful opportunity to develop relationships with our law enforcement, and despite the job that we have to do, and despite crime increasing in our county, we're truly in God's country. We only have to look at our neighbors to the west and to the east to see what true crime's about. And here in St. Clair County, we're really lucky. Even though it's increasing, we have men and women in law enforcement who risk their lives every day for us, and they don't get paid a whole lot, and they don't ask for anything in return. And so if myself and the people that work in my office can be there to try to close the deal on the cases that they make, what a great honor. And we hate to let them down. We don't win them all,
right?
But we don't lose many either. And I think that's how it should be.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, tell us this too. What is, from start to finish, if you can, say somebody's arrested and they're charged with a crime, where does it go from there, from when they're put in jail?
Okay. It's a very good question, and it kind of leads into how our office functions. So to get a general idea of your district attorney's office, we have two. St. Clair County, we're very special. We have a northern division and a southern division, which means we have a district attorney's office just like we have a circuit clerk's office in both counties. In both parts of the county, a northern and southern division. But if it's a southern division case, like say from Pell City, that a crime was committed and an arrest was made, the individual would, if it's a jailable offense, not just a speeding ticket, but if it's a property crime of some sort, would be brought to jail. And then so there's the defendant aspect of a case, where you talk about bond and how that defendant may be able to be released, or whether he should be held. But then you have the technical aspect of a case, where files are beginning to be created. And as you can imagine, there's probably between 13 and 15,000 cases that come through St. Clair County a year. So our clerk's office, Ms. Manning, they do a wonderful job of collecting that information to start the development of a criminal case as it progresses through the court system. Once they have the input, we have a paper file and a digital file. We're not ready to be paperless yet. The volume's just too big. But it's brought to the district attorney's office. We have a wonderful support staff here who pieces those cases together, gets them organized so that they can be prosecuted. If it goes through the district court stage first if it's a property crime or something more serious, where they would see Judge Furr. And we have two specific assistant district attorneys that handle those type of cases. If they can be resolved in district court, we make that effort. If they can't, then they move to circuit court. Well, they would go to a grand jury if they're felony cases, and then on to circuit court for prosecution. But that's sort of an overlay of how the life of a case would kind of progress through the court system.
Right. Now, does the DA's office have their own investigation or investigators,
No.
or do you rely solely on the agencies that make those arrests to give you what they've investigated and their information?
Great question. We do not have an investigative portion of our district attorney's office. We rely solely on the men and women in law enforcement, whether it's the Sheriff's Department or Pell City PD or any other of our municipalities, Moody, and it's just, we rely on them. We rely on their leadership to help us or assist us with getting information that we need. It would be nice to have an investigator, and hopefully as our office continues to grow, that may be something that we have as our county grows.
Okay, so it is a possibility.
It is a possibility. The investigator position for a district attorney's office is a little different than being an investigator for the Sheriff's Department. It would be, while the district attorney's office doesn't necessarily investigate crimes, that is for the job of law enforcement. We are there to assist with questions of whether it deals with the Fourth Amendment or Fifth Amendment type situations, to assist that law enforcement officer to do it correctly. And so when we get ready to go to trial, we have a solid product. And we know who we've got. We, in our heart, believe them to be guilty, and then we can go full bore with prosecution at that point.
Has there ever been a case, and you don't have to answer this, where, say, an investigation brought you what they had found, but it wasn't enough to actually prosecute somebody?
That's probably, I'm not going to say it's the most difficult thing that I deal with. By far the most difficult thing that I deal with is a grieving family. In the case of a murder or sexual crimes. Sexual crimes are just awful, and it just tears a family apart when they're victims of that. But certainly, as a district attorney, one thing that I do not like to do is to sit down with a grieving family or a family who's been invaded, their home's been invaded by a drug addict or whatever, and tell them that we believe that the person is who did it. Quite frankly, a lot of times we know that that's the person who did it, but that we don't have evidence to support a conviction, and it's very hard. Surprisingly, most of our citizens understand, but sometimes, and rightfully so, it's very emotional for them, and it's I don't enjoy that part, but it's I don't shy from it either. It's what I took an oath to do, and I'd rather not do it.
Right.
I'd rather have the evidence on every case.
Right.
But that's not always the case.
So, and you've said this a couple times in this interview, but you deal with families directly too, the
Absolutely.
victim and the victim's families.
Yes. I would like to say that I have, on a violent crime, sat down with every victim's family that we have. I can't say that with 100% certainty, but I can say that I have sat down I have made an effort to sit down with them. And even in my absence, I've got wonderful assistants here. Prosecuting is, well, I guess if it's okay to phrase it this kind of a different way, there are organizations, and I think all of us would very quickly be able to name a few organizations that are there on behalf of a defendant and the defendant's rights. And we hear about that all the time. You know, the ACLU, the Southern Poverty Law Center, Appleseed. These organizations do, they do things on behalf of a defendant. But I think we're all hard-pressed to try to name one organization that's there for a victim. And if you take a moment, you think about that. But our system is set up, it's the best system in the world. But every day we go to court, before a conviction, it's about the defendant. It's never about the victim or the victim's family. And that's a hard pill to swallow if you're a victim or if you're a victim's family member. So the prosecution's office, the DA's office is it. And if it's wearing a white hat, so be it. I'm proud to wear it. But I stand for victims every day. And everybody in our office stands for victims every day. And what an honor to be able to do so.
And I've gotten to know a lot of your assistants, and they're excellent people.
Hey, man, I've got some very, very smart, very passionate people who have prosecutors' hearts.
Yes,
and our victims come first.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, is there anything else about the district attorney's office we haven't covered that we could talk about for a few minutes?
Well, that's so wide open. I don't want to bore anybody listening. I mean, I can talk about this office and what we get to do all day. It is an honor to be able to serve our citizens. It is a tough job that we don't take lightly. The preparation that goes into this is as it should be. If we are asking to take away a person's liberty, or in some situations a person's life, we need to have our ducks in a row. But doing that, abiding by the rules of evidence, and it's no small order. It is a lot of work that goes into it, and it should be. But when we do prove it, we are also fortunate to have some wonderful judges. They do hold us accountable, which is I expect nothing less.
Right.
But our judges, they follow the law. They don't create law or make their own law. They don't ignore a law just because they don't like it. But if we present our facts in a professional, appropriate way, which is what we do, I would try a case in front of any judge that we have here, and look forward to doing it.
Yeah.
We're lucky.
Do any of the cases that you prosecute weigh heavily on you personally?
Yeah, you can't turn it off. The job that I have and that my assistants have is not a 8 to 5 job. I've talked to you many mornings. I go to the scenes of Class A felonies, in particular murders. I'm at every one. And I'm not there to interfere or get in the way of law enforcement when they do their investigation. But I hope in some way it shows the men and women of law enforcement that they have our support. But I also feel like we provide a service of being able to answer legal questions for them. Again, it's not 8 to 5. It is 3 or 4 nights a week, every week for a whole year, and then it just keeps on going.
Starts over here. It's early morning, late night.
Absolutely, and I've seen you out there many, many times, and Dennis. Miss seeing you.
But I miss the investigation side of it.
Right.
Working with the different sheriff's department and police departments around the county, so I do miss that part of it. So,
right.
Yeah. On a personal note, you have an event coming up, I believe, Sloan's Foundation.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Can you tell us about that?
Yep. So for those of you who don't know, Shelley and us, our son Sloan Harmon was murdered a couple of years ago, and sort of in his memory and in his honor, and talk about being blessed with just the best young man ever. Actually 3 of them, but
Right.
But we have started a foundation. It's kind of twofold. 2 things that Boo, which his nickname was Boo. He was born on Halloween, and So from the time he was born, it's been Boo for those of us who know him,
Right.
and knew him, and but he was passionate about flying. You know, he joined the Air Force and was working his way up to be a pilot. He was a crew chief on a KC-135. So we started a scholarship foundation, and let me tell you, the citizens of Pell City and St. Clair County have been so generous, you know, to give us their money to distribute to kids who have a dream of flying. Has just been phenomenal. And you know, last year the St. Clair County Airport puts on an aviation career day, and that's coming up, by the way.
Yeah,
and
all the banners.
Last year they worked extremely hard and sort of raffled a car, and just a huge donation to our foundation. But so with that being said, we're going to give away another scholarship. We gave our first away last year, a $2,000 scholarship to a young man named Harrison Fosnall, who is a Pell City graduate who wants to become a pilot. So we gave that to him, and we're going to give another $2,000 scholarship away this year to some lucky young person who wants a career in aviation. So that's one half of it. The other half of it is Boo loved mountain biking, and so it's the same thing, but they're two different scholarships. And on that one, it is not specific like to aviation. Last year it was a $1,000 scholarship that we were able to give to a kid who enjoys mountain biking, and they can use it at any university that they want to use it in.
Awesome.
Yeah, and Tanner Roden won that scholarship. And for anyone who might have someone that is interested in either side of the scholarships, all they have to do is write a 500-word essay on why they want to be a pilot or what mountain biking has done to them or for them, and sort of give us a resume and their GPA or their school record, and we'll put it in the pot. And there's a group of men and women who are on the foundation who will sit down and do our best. It's very difficult to do, but we'll do our best to pick those out, and hopefully the most deserving young people will get it. But what an honor to be able to do that.
Yeah, and I honestly believe that the success of Sloan's Foundation is a testament to you and your family and Shelley and what you mean to us in our county. So
well, I can thank you for saying that.
Yes, sir.
You know, he was a wonderful young man, and God blessed us, you know, for the short time that we had him.
Right.
But
is there anything else you'd like to say before we go?
no, well, thank you for the opportunity. I
Yes,
hope,
sir.
hope I didn't bore
No,
people with too much DA talk, but it's a
well, it's nice to like these interviews, and nothing against the previous interviews, but they seem to be getting better and better. And
Well,
it's just it gives us a chance to explain to people the inner workings of what goes on in the county
yeah.
and our city, and how it's not just something you see on TV. It affects lives and livelihoods and emotions, and it's not always easy or simple, but I believe that you're in a place that you're supposed to be at the DA's office. So.
Thank you for saying that. I believe that too.
Yes, sir. Well, today we've had Lyle Harmon with us, and he's the St. Clair County District Attorney, and he is seeking re-election.
Absolutely.
So that's something else to keep in mind. Last year, he was the Pell City Chamber of Commerce Citizen of the Year last year for 2020.
Yeah, what an honor. I can't say that I deserved it, but what a great honor.
Well,
and just to be just to even be nominated was more than I ever expected. But then to actually win it, and you know, one of the other nominees is sort of a mentor of mine, Mr. McGowan.
Oh, James
you know,
McGowan.
James
yes.
McGowan is and to be nominated in the same at the same time as someone I've looked up to my whole life, and in certain situations, sought his counsel on things.
Right.
And anyway, thank you, and I thank y'all.
Yes, sir.
Because it's been an honor.
All right. Well, thank you guys for taking time to listen to us and watch us today. We hope you've learned something. That's the purpose of these interviews, is to educate and to get to know these people that work in our county and our city. So we thank you guys for watching, and we hope that you have a great day. Thank you, Mr. Lyle.
Hey, thanks, Jeremiah.
Yes, sir.
Thanks.